What's up, everybody? Richard back this week with another episode of the Loathe Report, and if you'll notice, picture's a little bit better looking, huh? Well, that's because I finally learned how to hook up my camera. Well, I shouldn't say I did. My girlfriend did, because I am not at all technically savvy, and she hooked it up for me, and now it's very cool. We have a nice camera, a nice lighting in here. Everything looks great and better. We're slowly upgrading over here, okay? But anyways, the last couple of weeks, if you've watched the shows, they have been, sparse in terms of news, and that makes sense, with all the holidays and everything kind of coming around. But with that, we have a lot of stuff to get to, so I am going to cease to talk, and we're going to get right into it. First up, Falling in Reverse released a new track titled 𝗧𝗛𝗪𝗧, and this is actually kind of a cool little personal note for me because a friend of mine, 𝗧𝗛𝗪 is the bass player for Falling in Reverse now, and Wes is in another band called The Worst of Us, and actually when I was in True Shot, our very first show ever, we played with The Worst of Us. So Falling in Reverse released a new song titled 𝗧𝗛𝗪𝗧. Fun, catchy track, great breakdown, but of course, as this article here on New Fury Media says, it was a song about cancel culture and all that. And hey, listen, I don't want to get into all that here. Whatever, I'm just relaying to you the message of the song and also kind of my thoughts. I enjoyed the song for what it was. Some people pick apart the lyrics and whatever. Again, I just listen to music, and if I'm enjoying what I'm hearing, I enjoy it. And that was the case with this track. So yeah, Falling in Reverse, a new track titled 𝗧𝗛𝗪𝗧. And actually, this was my bad. I'll say it first off. I should have talked about this last week, but we'll cover it here now really quickly. I'm sure you guys have all seen the news now, but Eskimo Cowboy have, in a way, self-canceled themselves. And I agree with this decision here. They have planned to change their name and remove some old songs. They released a statement on Instagram basically talking about some of their older material where the lyrics, they kind of had some, they had some language in there that, obviously through the lens of 2022 does not look great. And of course, back then it's not great either. But, times have definitely changed in terms of using certain slurs and whatnot. I'm not saying that they were ever okay, but they're just, back then they were a lot more prominent. And, of course, the name Eskimo itself is considered a slur to, the native Alaskan population. And I'm sure that, Eskimo Cowboy as a band may not even know that. They're from Germany, so they may not understand how those words kind of are, how they impact people in American culture. So good on them. They're getting rid of this old stuff, which I'm sure nobody probably listens to anyway, to be totally honest with you. And, this is a band that is accelerating in popularity, and I think things like that could hold them back. So very good on them for getting ahead of the curve on this one. Next up, Vane.fm. They premiered a new track titled The Killing Womb, and this will be coming off of their upcoming album, which is called This World Is Going to Ruin You, and this will be coming out on March 4th through Closed Casket Activities and Nuclear Blast Records. In total, there's going to be 12 tracks here, and I'm very much looking forward to this. I thought that The Killing Womb, the song, was absolutely fantastic. It was like Code Orange and Knocked Loose fused together. I absolutely loved it, and I seriously cannot wait to listen to some new Vane as soon as it comes out, because I was so floored by that track. Next up, we have ex-Lorna Shore vocalist CJ McCreary is set to return with a new band. Now, again, this is another story here where there is a lot of controversy in terms of why he was removed from Lorna Shore. There's some people who are on his side, some that aren't, but hey, I'm just here to deliver the news. And with that, CJ McCreary is saying that he is coming back with a new band and a new project. And in his statement, in a previous statement, he has said that I can assure you that these accusations are all lies. Again, I'm not here to speculate on any of that. I'm just delivering the news as we see it here. And he has said it, as you can see here in his Instagram post. He does say that it's a new band and whatnot. So that'll be interesting to see what comes of that. It is what it is. Just delivering you the news. All right, next up, another controversial figure, obviously not for anything as serious as CJ McCreary, but Machine Gun Kelly has announced that he's going to release not one, but two albums which that should be exciting. You know, obviously we talked about it here extensively on this show. You know, that Machine Gun Kelly has had an ongoing feud with Slipknot, and I'm curious to see how that feud, you know, filters into the albums, and if anything more comes of that feud. But 2 albums this year from Machine Gun Kelly. I wonder if they'll come out, you know, in like 6-month increments or whatever. But yeah, interested to see what he does. I'm curious to see if he kind of sticks in that pop punk area with Travis Barker, or if he even goes heavier. That should be interesting. Speaking of new albums, Fit for a King are also working on a new album. On Twitter here, Ryan Kirby, their vocalist, said that he and his bandmates want to do things differently this time. He said they are as follows: bring back massive choruses like Dark Skies. Don't shy away from making parts as heavy as we can. Tiptoe with deathcore at times, like in the past. And number 3, don't sweat songs for radio. If they happen, they happen. Obviously, these are all fantastic things. You know, The Path, I thought it was an okay album. I mean, it wasn't definitely in my top 10 list or anything like that. But Dark Skies, in my opinion, again, music is all subjective, but it was definitely a superior record. And obviously Fit for a King, trying to go back to a little bit more of what we all know and love them for, rather than going down the direction, rather than going down the path of the path. Oh, okay, there we go. Nice pun. We got a tour announcement. We've had a lot of tour announcements recently, but we have Traitors, Left to Suffer, Wrist Meet Razor, and Scum F. They have announced a tour here, which will be going from March 24th, kicking off in Tampa, Florida, and concluding also in Florida, but in Orlando on April 22nd. That should be a heavy tour if you're into that kind of music. The Grammy Awards have been postponed due to the uncertainty surrounding the Omicron variant. Obviously, metal is, you know, not a huge focus here, but I did want to bring that to your attention just in case, because, you know, it is still cool to see metal represented at all. It's usually, let's be honest, nothing exactly revolutionary. It's usually just bands that are 20, 25 years old, but they have, it's been postponed from January 31st to a future yet to be announced date. Another tour here, Like Moss to Flames, Polaris, Alpha Wolf, and Invent Animate, kicking off March 12th in Los Angeles, California, and concluding on April 16th. And I do have some sources here that have told me what this 27th date is, but I have promised that I would not speak on that. I will tell you, though, that it is in between Pennsylvania and Montreal, Quebec, Canada. So that should be exciting for those of you that are waiting for that to be announced date. Loathe have announced, they premiered a new track, rather, Dimorphous Display. This was definitely a very interesting track. I loved it a lot. It reminded me a lot of Diamond Eyes from Deftones, but it had that signature Loathe sound. I very much enjoyed it. I thought it was a really, I don't know, you have to listen to it. There's a lot of different things going on here in terms of synths and stuff like that really make it just super interesting, I think. But we do have a statement here that I wanted to read off. It says about this the new song Loathe State Dimorphous Display. In its first iteration, had been in the vault for a good few years before we decided to start work on the song together as a band. So finally being able to release it in the world feels like a great accomplishment. The initial demo was filed soon after we had finished up with I Let It In. It took everything, but with lockdowns occurring across the world, this gave us the opportunity to experiment with different collaborators, and thus final tracking was completed sometime in the middle of 2021 at Giant Wafer Studios. We worked alongside our new friend Eddie Al-Shakarchi on capturing the rawest incarnation of the Loathe sound to date, and we are happy with the result. I think that's a great way to put it. I think they did that and then some. This is definitely a fantastic track that you've got to check out. Fit for an Autopsy have debuted a new song, an animated video. It's for their song Two Towers, and they will be releasing an album next week, January 14th. Gotta be honest with you, man, I'm not really too into the new Fit for an Autopsy direction, but I can definitely understand why some people are. It definitely has that Gojira feel, and yeah, I mean, if you're kind of into that or the new style of Fit for an Autopsy, you'll be happy to know that a new song by them has been released. We already talked about that. Whoops. Crown the Empire. Part ways with drummer Brent 𝗪𝗘, Crown the Empire have announced that Brent 𝗪𝗘 is leaving the band after 10 years. Yeah, this is pretty crazy. He's been with the band for a long time, but they do say here that the decision was made amicably, which is always nice to hear. Bad Omens debut a new video for Artificial Suicide. This song has been out for a little while, but they did release a new video in lead up to their new record, The Death of Peace of Mind, coming out February 25th. And the video was, of course, directed by Ori McGinnis, who does a fantastic job. This is definitely along the lines of the Dethrone side of Bad Omens. If you like the heavier stuff, I highly recommend checking this out. I love this song. And lastly, Suicide Silence and Carnifex to co-headline a spring tour with Lorna Shore and more. And that more is Upon a Burning Body, Angel Maker, and Distant. That's going to be fantastic. And it says there's another yet to be announced special guest. And this tour will start May the 6th in Sacramento, California, and conclude on June the 4th in Los Angeles, California. So I've got a few new tours, a few albums announced. We've had a lot of news that we got through here. Tried to go as fast as I could to keep this video as close to the 10-minute mark, but we have actually gone over that time. So I hope that you don't mind my kind of rapid-fire news stuff there. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this week's episode of The Warped Report, and we will be back here, same time, same out-of-line YouTube channel. And listen, by this time next week, we're going to have a lot of albums to talk about, so maybe we'll do a show on that then. But anyways, till next week, peace.